Hello there. So we're just a few days away from the election, okay? And let me remind you to go out and vote. It's your duty. You need to do that. But I have come to hate campaign seasons. I can't stand them anymore. You can't even watch a show on TV without childish um, childish commercials just slinging mud or BS about the other person. Okay, and I've just grown to hate it. And I've been voting since I was of age. And you know, if this sounds like an endorsement, it's not meant to be an endorsement, but I'm just trying to make a point. I seen one commercial on TV that this old lady, now of course she would have been a young lady back then, and she was on a plane, and there was an open seat in first class, and so she was offered the seat by the flight attendant. Go ahead up and sit in first class. Okay, and that's happened. And by the window was Donald Trump. And as soon as the plane took off, he started groping me, kissing me, putting his hands up my skirt or up my shirt or whatever. And she couldn't fight him off anymore. She had to get up and go back to her original seat. I personally don't believe that. Am I saying that he's a saint? No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you're going to make up something, at least make it believable. All right? And why I had a problem with that and why I don't think that ever happened was this. You're on an airplane. Now, you can't just be a total screwball on an airplane. They'll detain you or they'll turn you over to the cops or whatever, okay? But as soon as the plane took off, so this plane with all these passengers, or I'll call them witnesses, okay? And I'm sure that there were men on the plane also, and that would have come to her aid. So you mean a plane full of people, including the flight attendants, and not one person came to your aid, and the stewardess, you didn't make a note, tell the stewardess what's going on, okay? And it was such a terrible event that you waited a half a century to say something about it, and coincidentally, it's just because he's running for election. Again, let me pop the disclaimer in. I'm not saying he's a saint, but man, if you are going to say something that's false, first of all, you're going to say something that's false, for what it's worth, there's no credibility as far as I'm concerned, okay, because you'll say anything. Now my sister today brought me my mail, and she had spoken with a person in the post office, and the person proudly says, yep, I voted, I'm all done. I voted for Kamala Harris. And my sister said, oh, well, would you mind telling me why? And he said, because these last 4 years under Trump has been awful. You know, America has been so dumbed down before, and it's very easy to say things that are not true and have a slew of people that would believe you. Okay? It's just dang childish. And like I said, I'm not saying he's a saint. Okay? But I mean, come on, people. I don't even want to turn my set on anymore until this is well over. But let me just share real quick how I'm going to vote. Okay? These past 4 years have been very tough. Economically, very tough. Gas prices doubled. Food prices went up almost 50%. Okay? Illegals coming across the border that are in all these cities, sanctuary cities, committing crimes, et cetera, and with the economy being so bad, we're supposed to elect somebody who's been in office for these past 4 years, and even touted that the Bidenomics are working. Now, all of a sudden, we hear, the food prices are high and whatever, but when I'm president, I'm going to do all that. Well, why did you wait 4 years? And I like to listen to how people talk. And I never used to get it before whenever I would hear about these word salads. And I couldn't get that. Like, well, what do you mean word salad? But I listened to some of the speeches, and I don't know of anybody who can throw together so many words and not say a dang thing. Now, some nice things are promised. Oh, yeah. But when you ask, okay, but how are you going to achieve this? You don't get a straight answer. You just get a, well, I grew up in a middle class family, and well, I did this and this and this. But you don't hear, what is your plan? How do you plan to do this? She wants to give, I think I heard $25,000 for first-time homeowners. Where's that going to come from? Okay? And all this really nice stuff, but there's no plan to back it up. Personally, I don't believe a word of it. And I've been hearing the same nonsense ever since I started voting as a young kid. That, oh, so-and-so is going to do away with Social Security. Oh, so-and-so is going to cut Medicare. Oh, this and this and this and this. I don't believe that, because you have to think Medicare and Social Security, wonderful talking points for a politician to use. And then you take an older person that's collecting on Social Security and tell them, hey, my opponent is going to cut your Social Security and you're going to starve. And they vote on the fear factor because they're afraid they can't lose Social Security. Well, trust me, you're not going to lose your Social Security, because if you lost it, what would they talk about then? Okay. And so I don't want to make this a long video, okay? But if you're going to vote for one person, oh, and one more thing. The big key issue is abortion, okay? So-and-so doesn't believe in abortion, so that's why we should elect a president, because this president believes in abortion, this one doesn't. We have had pro-life presidents in there, and they just don't go in and say, I'm making a law now, and this is what's going to happen. So under my watch, you're not going to be able to get this or get that. They could have done it before, and they never did. All right. And I'm pulling these off the top of my head as I remember them. But during the debate, I think it was, where Mr. Trump was saying about overturning Roe v. Wade, and it's what the people wanted. And Mrs. Harris said something it just made my jaw drop, and I thought, are people really that stupid to listen to this? But she said, oh, what the people want. Well, what about this lady who comes in having a miscarriage, and she's got to go outside and bleed to death in her car because the doctor was afraid to treat her? Now, that is the biggest pile of horse nonsense that I've ever heard, because number one, it's called a duty to act. You're not going to go into an emergency room bleeding profusely and the doctor say, well, go sit in your car because I don't want to get sued. No, they must treat you. They will treat you. All right? And one other reason why that's not an issue with me, abortion, is this. Myself or my son or my older daughter, okay, can't afford any more kids, so what do? You go on birth control, and then you don't have an unwanted pregnancy. But that's another argument for another time. But all I'm saying is this: please stop and think how you're going to vote. And if you're going to vote just because you hate somebody, so you're going to vote for the other person, that's really that's not a valid way to vote. It's not. Okay. Anyways, I've never made a political video, and I don't ever want to do it again, because somebody's always going to disagree with you. But like I said, it's been a crummy 4 years. Okay. And the economy has been bad. The inflation, 40-year high, it's been bad. The illegal immigrants committing crimes in this country is bad, okay? And I would rather not see that again. And if one person is the magical fix for all this, why didn't you do this in the first 4 years? All right? So anyways, you're free to disagree with me. Just make any comments, make them civil, because I just delete nasty, mean comments. Okay. So anyways, take care of yourself. Don't forget to vote. All right. Use your head. And I will talk to you later. Thank you.